Alright, so good day everyone. I really hope you're doing fine at home, staying safe. Alright, so today in this video we will present civic education. Okay, civic education. What comes to your mind when you hear these two words? So we have civic and we have education. Civic may lead some of you to think about being a civilian, for example, being a good citizen, or about citizenship in general, while education has to do mostly with learning, and learning that is from schools or programs or other means, other sources of learning. So when we put them together, when we put civic and education together, we can say that civic education refers to the school programs that target citizen preparation. So it's about what schools do. Basically, it's about what schools do to prepare or to install positive civic habits and values in their students. And we also can say that civic education is related to citizenship and service learning. We will see these two later on with my classmates. Now, for the questions that we need or that we answer during this presentation, the first one is that what is civic education in general? I've just given a brief definition. I'd want you to expand on that if you can, and give your own definitions. Question number two: what are the benefits of teaching civic education? What do you think the benefits are for you as a teacher? How is it beneficial to you? We will see that. And also, how can one teach civic education, which I think is the most important thing. So you can share activities you know of, or some activities that you think that can be used to teach civic education. I will give some, and my classmates as well will do, but you can expand on them, maybe give your own. It depends. For the questions number 4 and 5, we will see them with my classmates. So what is citizenship and what is service learning? I'll let them explain that themselves. Alright, before we start at this point, when we talk about civic education, I must state that it's not an approach in itself. It's not like an approach like the ones we've seen in our classmates' presentations. No, civic education is its own thing, and it has different fields, so to say, like citizenship, service learning, what have you. So will discuss civic education in general. I will mention the benefits of teaching civic education, and then we'll provide you with certain examples of how you can teach it in your own classes. Then I will give the word to my friend Fatima Zahra, Fatima Arab, who will talk about citizenship. Then Akayo Ijo will take over to present service learning. Alright, so like we've seen previously, we said that civic education refers to the school programs that target citizen preparation. So it is about what schools do, like we said, to install positive civic habits and values in students. Now, before we delve into how you can teach civic education, we must first identify the reasons for doing so. Why? Why do we even need to teach civic education? Well, first of all, you have to teach it because it accomplishes the legal obligations for the national curriculum. You have to do it because the system says you have to do it. But that's not the reason why you would want to teach it as a teacher. It's actually very beneficial, not only because the system says so, but because, and we'll get to that, because there's this saying, if you've ever heard it, it goes like this: it's that the true purpose of education is to produce citizens. And that, like we've said previously, civic education is about its main goal, its only actually goal, is to produce citizens. Therefore, having civic education in your classes, teaching it, is very necessary. It's very necessary. Also, civic education, it connects students with controversial and relevant issues of society. Students, when they study civic education, they become responsible and they are more aware of their environment and their rights and their responsibilities as citizens. They tell us in the center that we must connect the environment, the society of the student to the class, and there is no better way to do it than to bring society into class itself. One other benefit of teaching civic education is that it develops key skills that are most assured or most important for employment and joining universities, such as leadership, teamwork, and participation. Well, of course, when you teach civic education, students become more responsible. You create that team spirit in your class. This helps them in their future when they're trying to find a job or when they're trying to join universities, but it also helps you as a teacher in your class, because when you teach civic education, the behavior and the behavior improves in your class. Students, like I said, when this class is more so like a community, a society they feel safe in, their behavior in class improves, and you don't burn out, and they don't burn out, they feel comfortable, everyone is comfortable. So that's one of the benefits that helps you as a teacher. It reduces exclusions because they work in groups and everyone is included, everyone works and they work together, and the team spirit, like I said, it grows, and that helps everybody. Alright. The classroom itself, like I said, turns into a safe community. Alright, so now to the most important part, which is basically how to teach civic education in your class. So in this part, I will provide certain activities that promote civic education, alright, which you can use in your own class. Alright, there are many simple activities that you can use in your class to teach civic education. So the first one, of course, one of the things that you will agree upon with your students while teaching civic education is that preserving the environment is very important. We know that the best way to learn is to do. So basically, instead of just telling them that it's important to clean the environment or to keep the environment safe, you yourself can make your students organize and clean their classrooms. Establish that it's important. Okay, stand up, clean your class, because most classes are messy and we've seen that in our TPs. Why not take that chance of teaching civic education to make the class cleaner, to make students feel responsible by having them clean it themselves. It will improve the team spirit that I talked about earlier. It's very important to nurture that and to help it grow within your class, make everyone feel comfortable, and that's one way of doing it. Of course, there are other activities like ones that you can do individually and or in groups. So I'll start with one that you can do individually, which is that you provide them with sentences like these and words, and they have to fill in the gaps. Of course, you can do this also in groups. It depends on how you want to do it. Also, there's another activity which you can do in groups, which is like this. Of course, you have words here and you have their definitions. You divide them using scissors and you scramble them and make students themselves work in groups and try to put them together using paper clips. I've seen it work. I've seen it work in person. I've seen my classmate Leila Rajan, thank you so much for sharing this with me. I've seen her do it in one of our TPs, and it worked brilliantly. I enjoyed it. The class enjoyed it. Everyone was participating. So it's one of the activities that is actually is tested, and it works. There's another activity that I share with you here, which is this one. You give them this in groups also. I've tried this in one of my classes. It actually works. It's fun. You set a timer, for instance, and you have the students, you say, okay, for example, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. This one is actually difficult, quite difficult. I've struggled to find the words myself. So you give them like 3 minutes in groups of 4 or whatever have you. And the team who finds the most words in the least amount of time wins. It's fun. I've seen it work. So yes, these are some of the activities that one can use in their teaching. If you have any that you can share with us, I would be very grateful for that. As I'm sure most of our colleagues will as well. So thank you for listening. I will pass the word now to Fatima.
Okay, thank you, Enes. Okay, so hello again. How are you doing? Hope you are fine. So as my colleague said, my part is about citizenship, and I'm going to show you the outline. Let's go. We'll start first with a Japanese proverb. Then we're going to answer the question of what is citizenship, followed by a simple comparison between the practices of a good citizen versus the practices of a bad citizen. Then we'll watch a video about being a good citizen. The last thing will be different situations for you or for us in general to express our citizenship or to express our good practices. Okay, now let's start. Here we have the proverb, but as you see here, it's not ordered. So I'd like you to think and to try to make it in order. Okay, now I'm going to show you the ordered one. Being a good person doesn't depend on religion, skin color, or culture. It depends on how you treat others. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with this proverb? What do you think about being a good person or how to be a good person in your opinion? Let's move. Yes, now we're going to have a look at 2 different pictures. Then we're going to answer the questions next to each picture. Let's go now for the first one. Have a look at it. Okay, now you tell me, who is he? What is he doing? Is he a good citizen or not? The following picture. Who are they? What are they doing? Are they good citizens or not? Okay, now try to make a comparison between the 2 pictures. What's the difference between the 2? Which one do you think it's good and which one do you think it's bad? Okay, have you made the comparison? Good. Yes, I think this is the most important question in my part. What is citizenship? Okay, so do you have an answer for this question? We've seen the proverb, we've seen the 2 pictures, and of course you have background knowledge about this word, citizenship. So try to define it in your own way. Just a very short definition. No need to write long definitions. Okay, now we're going to have a task to do. Yes, choose the best option. Here are 3 definitions of the word citizenship, but only one of them can be considered as a complete definition. Okay? Read the 3 options and decide which one is the complete one or which one is the best option. Or if you think your definition is better, you share it with us. Okay. Did you choose or not yet? Good. Yes, here we have 7 practices. Some of them are done by good citizens, others are done by bad citizens. Now I'd like you to read them one by one and to classify them. For example, let's have an example or some examples. Hurt their community. Is it a practice of bad citizens or good citizens? Yes, unfortunately, bad citizens hurt their community. Okay, help their community. Bad citizens or good citizens? Yes, it's the opposite. Good citizens. Respect others. Good citizens or bad citizens? Yes, it's a practice of good citizens. Throw rubbish everywhere. A practice of bad citizens or good citizens? Yes, again, bad citizens. The last one? Take care of the environment. Good citizens or bad citizens? Yes, absolutely good citizens. Okay, please, I'd like you to finish, okay? Finish the rest. Let's move now. Yeah, we're going to watch a video, and as I've already said, it's about being a good person or being a good citizen. By the end of the video, I'd like you to answer this question: how to be a good citizen. Okay, be ready for the video.
Be kind to everyone. That's the first thing you need to do to be a good citizen. Smile and respect everyone, just as you would want them to. Be friendly to new children in your neighborhood and class. Respect and befriend children from all communities, religions, and countries. Always help the elderly in crossing roads, getting aboard a bus, or carrying grocery bags. We are responsible for keeping our surroundings clean. So throw your trash in trash bins. And if you find trash thrown around in public, pick it up and throw it in the right place. Follow all the traffic rules. Wait for the signal to cross the road, and always cross at the zebra crossing. Follow school rules, be in your class on time, and respect the school property. A good citizen believes in doing what's right and guides his friends to do the same. Keep away from social evils like drinking, smoking, and stealing. Donate your old toys and clothes to needy children and make them happy. A good citizen has self-control. Control your anger in public and never use abusive language. Respect the property of others. Always ask before using something that belongs to someone else. Respect authority. People in charge of rules help to maintain order in the society. Whether it's the police, traffic police, your principal and teachers, or your parents at home, give them the due respect. Be aware of your rights. As a citizen of this country, you have the right to be treated equally and fairly. Take your complaints to someone in authority if you are being denied of your rights. Beware of what's happening in your surroundings and take an active part to make it better in whichever way you can.
Okay, so I think that's enough. What was the question again? How to be a good citizen. Okay, so did you find the answer? Okay. Let's move. The last thing in my part, situations for us in general, so that we can express or we can talk about our practices, our good practices. Now let's go for the first one. Imagine you were in the supermarket and you saw someone dropped his wallet. So what would you do as a good citizen? You can start like this. As a good citizen, I would. And you finish. Following picture or situation. You were sitting in the bus and you saw an old man standing. So what would you do as a good citizen? Third situation, you were in the street and you saw an old woman who wanted to cross the road. What would you do as a good citizen? Okay, so the last situation, coronavirus is spreading everywhere. It has no cure. The only way to protect yourself and others from this virus is to stay home and to avoid crowded places. Okay, so as a good citizen, what will you do in such situation? I'd like you to think about the 4 situations I've given you and feel free to share with us your practices. Okay, so my video was, let's say, an example of a model lesson about citizenship that you can teach for your students. Okay, so the same tasks I did with you, you can do them with your students. I hope the video was clear enough. I hope it was a good example on how to teach citizenship for your students, on how to make them aware of their responsibilities and rights, on how to help them to differentiate between good practices and bad practices. Okay, thank you, Fatima. Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very well. So today in my presentation I will talk about service learning. So in this presentation we will mainly see the definition of service learning and then its benefits and stages of service learning, and of course some examples of service learning projects, and we will end this presentation with a summary. Okay, so first of all, do you have any ideas about what service learning is, or what comes into your mind when you hear service learning? Let's see how service learning can be defined. Service learning is a method where students actively participate and apply their classroom knowledge in real-life experiences. It is academically based, that is to say, it is integrated into the curriculum in the sense that students apply their classroom skills and knowledge towards implementing community projects. So, service learning is a form used to teach students civic responsibility and preparing them for responsible citizenship, as well as helping them build a more generous, connected civil society. So, why do we need service learning? Or what are the benefits of service learning? So, service learning provides students the chance to use their knowledge and skills in real-life situations. It also helps students expand their learning beyond the classroom into the community. So, students have more opportunities for learning outside the classroom. It fosters a sense of caring for others, so students learn to care about their communities and other people. Service learning also improves students' communication skills, self-awareness, and encourages students to contribute to their communities. And it also boosts students' self-esteem, empathy, and responsibility. Okay, now we are going to move to do some tasks. So the first task, here we have some terms which are related to service learning, of course. We are going to match these terms with their appropriate definition. Take some time to think about this. Okay, so hope you got the answers. And let's see. So number 1 is civic engagement. Number 2 is program monitoring. Number 3 is proposal. Number 4 is program monitoring. Number 5 is investigation. And number 6 is community resources. Okay, good. We move on to the second task. So here we have some statements and 3 choices. among these choices, we are going to choose the correct choice or the correct answer. So the first statement, unpaid activity where people give their time and perform a service without getting paid. So what is this? Research, voluntary work, or collaboration? What do you think? The second statement, designing a specific course of action and take the necessary steps to gather and prepare resources. So is this investigating, partnership, or preparation and planning? The next statement, a group of people connected by geography, culture, religion, situation, and need. So what is this? Research, partnership, or community? And the last statement, we have the act of putting a plan into action. So is this implementing, outcome, or service learning? I hope everything is clear. And we move on. Now that we have seen the definition of service learning and the benefits of service learning, we are going to see how can we conduct service learning in our classrooms. So a good service learning program follows a specific format. So there are 5 stages of service learning. Let's discover them. Here we have these 5 stages, but they are disordered. So we are going to order them from 1 to 5. These stages are reflection, investigation, action, preparation, and demonstration. So which one do you think is stage number 1? Okay, so stage number 1 is investigation. Stage number 2 is preparation. Which one is stage number 3? Action. Good. Which one is stage number 4? Reflection. And the last stage is, of course, demonstration. Okay, so now we are going to move to watch a video. This video describes better these 5 stages.
There are a lot of ways to help and get involved in what is called service learning. But how do you start? Service learning is a process of connecting your learning to needs in the community. Here's how it works. You create a plan, follow a process, and make a positive impact for others and for you. It all begins with investigation. Take some time and look at the world around you. Think and act like a detective. What are some issues you care about? What resources or talents do you have to make a difference in the world around you? What does your community need? Just as you study geography to discover the physical placement of things in the world, you investigate and study community needs to discover what can be improved. Next, it's time for preparation. You can work with classmates, teachers, and your community to create a plan around how you're going to address these needs. You could work with your science teacher to collect water samples, or ask your gym teacher to help host a jump rope-a-thon. You could even work with your classmates to write a grant in order to purchase materials or transportation. Ask yourself, what do we need to achieve our goal? Who might be able to help us? And how can they help? Then take action. Dedicate some of your time, talent, or treasure to make a difference. There are 4 types of service to consider. Direct service is when you work directly with or for people, animals, or the environment. You can provide indirect service. This is when you take action without even seeing who you help. You can also advocate and lend your voice to a cause or movement, or do original research and gather information about an issue to inform others to take action. Throughout the entire process, it's important to reflect. Take a step back and look at what you're doing with fresh eyes. Think about what's happening before, during, and after you take action. What do you hope to accomplish? How are you doing? Could you make it even better? Reflection is the time to think, discuss, and learn from your actions. Finally, demonstrate. accomplished for those you helped, the community you served. Investigate, prepare, take action, reflect, demonstrate. This is the strategy that will make your service learning more than a one-time action. It will kickstart a meaningful experience with a lasting effect. Give it a try and see for yourself the great things you can do.
If you learn about philanthropy, then it kind of affects your future. Like you become a better person. That means more than just giving. Sharing, helping people, and just making sure everyone can do the best they can.
There's just a satisfaction to me about giving back to people that aren't lucky enough to have what I have, like food or a home to stay in. So just giving back to them and allowing them to have a part of that, even if it's just one meal, it means a lot.
Okay, so now that we have seen the stages of service learning, we are going to see some examples of service learning projects. So service learning takes the form of projects that students implement in their communities. We have, for example, environmental projects like cleaning and gardening. We have poverty and hunger projects like, for example, charity events, donations. We have also literacy projects like and we have awareness campaigns like, for example, organizing campaigns to sensitize people about a certain issue, etc. As a conclusion, service learning is a combination of service and learning. Students learn to serve their communities while getting involved in real-world projects. This gives them a chance to develop citizenship, responsibility, and many other positive virtues, without forgetting that service learning is academically based and time-structured. So for more information about service learning, you can consult these websites. And thank you for your attention.